Well, plenty of storms and systems that we're tracking in the Atlantic Basin. Boy, we've had a flurry of activity over the last couple of weeks. We're still tracking Tropical Rainstorm Idalia. We have Franklin. We have Jose. We have Gert. And look at, they're all in the central Atlantic, all moving to the north and northeast away from the United States, although we'll have to keep an eye on Idalia. We're also tracking tropical waves. This could be a storm as well. This is about 25, 30 degrees west. This will be heading north and west as well. This could be our next storm. Weak tropical waves in the Caribbean, not really going to develop much. Again, we're going to keep an eye on Idalia. It's a tropical rainstorm right now. It may strengthen a little bit as we head toward the weekend. As we talked about this yesterday, we were worried that something, whether it's a tropical rainstorm or a storm, would try to come back toward the United States maybe late next week. We'll keep an eye on it. But right now, while we do believe there will be a turn toward the northeast United States late next week, at some point, I think it either weakens that there's nothing left, or it will start to get steered to the northeast over the weekend, so we'll certainly keep an eye on it. I'm keeping an eye on this. This is what's going on in the Atlantic right now. While we are looking at storms, I think we're going through a period of active rest in the Atlantic from now through September 10th. What do I mean by that? Well, there's a lot of dry air in the tropical Atlantic right now, so this is going to shut down production, I think, at least for the next couple of days, at least near the United States. So with all this dry air and wind shear, I'm not expecting any impacts into the United States, landfalling storms, at least through September 10th. That's a big statement to make in the middle of the hurricane season. We're in the heart of the hurricane season now. I don't think there's any U.S. impacts until the 10th, but it's active because I think there's going to be storms developing, certainly in the eastern and central Atlantic, but nothing that will head toward the United States at least through the 10th. This is the system to watch. It is coming off Africa later today. This, I believe, will strengthen into a hurricane next week as it continues to move to the west. Probably mid to late week, it should strengthen into a hurricane. I will say this, development in the eastern Atlantic is a crapshoot sometimes, but I don't, what I see in the eastern and central Atlantic next week is all that dry air that we've seen building this week will start to erode away. You're going to get lessening wind shear, so low wind shear. So that's why I feel pretty confident this will be a hurricane, and it will approach the Lesser Antilles Friday and the Saturday. Now, U.S. impacts cannot be ruled out with this system. This is the one to watch. But we're not talking until like the 14th or 15th of September. So we're talking about 2 weeks. We're giving you an update. We're giving you kind of an alert 2 weeks ahead. Let me show you where I think this system is going to go. And this is typical tracks here. I believe we're going to have that storm developing mid to late next week. And then where does it go? A track north of 2060, that's this point I've highlighted here, and into the Atlantic, tells me that odds favor this system staying east of the United States. Now, how can I make that bold and sassy statement this early? Because I do think by the 14th or 15th, we're going to have a trough coming off the eastern seaboard. So if it gets this far north, it should be steered away from the U.S. Of course, we'll keep an eye on it. But a more southern track then would put this in the Caribbean, so then you miss this trough, and then there's room for this system to head toward the United States. Now, many things could happen here, but I do feel as if a more southern track into the Caribbean would actually increase at least the possibility of U.S. impacts. Now, we're way ahead of the game on this, so we have time to track it here, but we want to let you know, as I go back, in the tropics, this is the system to watch for U.S. impacts. This is the one as we get into mid-September.